Okay.
What are you doing?
I have no idea, but this is hilarious.
What are you doing to that poor toad's head?
He deserved it. Oh, actually, I can do that. All right. So basically, what happened was we're just digging around, and all of a sudden we're having a conversation about stuff. So we decided to just jump right into this.
Oh, we were talking about Apple.
Right. So Apple. Right. So we were talking about the different languages, and we're mentioning like developing for Linux, developing for
Windows,
and developing for Mac, right? And like how you don't have to develop for Linux because people will do that for you because they're insane like that, right? Developing Windows is straightforward and easy.
Like you got IDEs like Visual Studio.
Yeah, you have a ton of IDEs. You have a shit ton of IDEs actually. Yeah, right. And I talked about the hellhole that is Apple, Apple development. So. Like I said, I think I mentioned it earlier before, but I had a small job at college where I oh, this is quicksand. Okay, where I was fixing bugs for an app, right? So I got the app and I looked at it, right, and I trying to download it, right. I was talking about a problem I had where basically there's a button that. Basically, the problem is there's a button that creates a tip view, right? And when the tip view, if you click the button too fast, right, then the tip view will stay and will never go away. All right. So I'm going to start from the beginning again. So, and you're going to emote like you did last time, basically.
I'm not good at faking emotions.
Anyway. So my first instinct is that if you're pressing the button too fast, then I should probably lock the button to see if that fixes the problem, right?
So it's like a debounce.
Yeah, debounce. All right. And so that was my first reaction. All right. So that's exactly what I did. I made it so that if you press the button, it would lock, right? So afterwards, when you click the button, it would lock. But if you click the button at the right time, the tip view will still stay up. The tip view will still stay up on the on the screen, and oh, I actually hit him. Jeez. It'll stay on the screen, right? And then what was I saying again? And then fuck. It'll stay on the screen, and the button will stay locked forever, and you can't unlock it ever. So I was saying, oh, and so I was like, oh, that's a different problem, right? So I debugged it by tracking where the different states of the tip view. So when you create it, it would say created, and if you showed it, it would say show, right?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, that bounced over it, and so I do that, right? And I found out when I make the button lock, right? It would say that the tip view never existed before I managed to click it away. Right?
That's kind of an issue.
Yeah. So I had to go to the documentation of the tip view, which is included in the project, right? Oh, single one up. Fantastic.
Oh boy.
All right. So I do that, right?
Yeah.
So I do that, right? I take a look at the tip view, and it has a protocol.
Okay.
A protocol, right? And the protocol is only called when you dismiss the tip view.
Okay.
Right? So the problem wasn't that the protocol wasn't implemented. The problem was
what?
Yeah, the problem was that it was.
What?
Yeah. So
what did they do?
So basically, the protocol, right? It was included. The protocol was what the protocol did was that it deleted the tip view. All right. So basically, what happened is that it would delete the tip view before it had been dismissed.
Oh,
which causes it to
terrible.
Yeah, so that causes it to stay on the screen forever, and then yeah, it was not. So I spent I spent 2 days on that one bug fix, and all I had to do was delete one line of code. And I was very proud of myself. Right? But then that brought up the discussion about the different development tools, right? Apple, you have to use Swift, right? Swift only works on Apple products.
But why is it so popular then?
Right? You have to use Xcode in order to use Swift properly because it includes like interface tools which are needed for an interface. Right? And we're talking about the what was it called?
Like the whole idea of keeping implementation and interface separate?
Yeah, keeping interface and it's called design something, I forget. Design
Like paradigm?
I forget honestly. It's not paradigm, but I forgot the honest word, but the actual word, but you know what it is, right? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so basically you keep interface and code separate so that if you need to change the interface, it doesn't affect the code, and if you need to change the code, it doesn't affect the interface. Well, the code affects the interface anyway, but whatever. But you know what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Alright. Oh, I have to keep going. Eat food! Ouch. Right? So we're talking about that and how Apple has the whole thing about making it the same. So you have to in order to do it in Apple, what you have to do is you have to make the view controller, right? For the code and a view controller for the interface, and then you have to connect them, right? And anything you want to add to the anything you want to add to the interface, you need to connect to it instead. So if you have a button, you need to connect it to you have to include it in the code tip view, not tip view. You need to include it to the code. You need to include it to the code view controller, right? And then connect that back to the. You can connect that back to the interface view controller, and then. So if you need to press a button to make a light pop up, you need to connect the button to the view controller. Add that to the view controller, and put that in the view controller. Add the light in the view controller. Put it in the view controller. Connect that to the view controller, and then connect the button to the light, like the send action to the light. Write the send action function. It's a huge mess.
This sounds really overly complicated.
It's a huge mess. It's a huge mess. And it is so confusing, and it took me a while to wrap my head around it. Like classes, I learned that in high school.
Yeah.
Like interface and shit, I learned that all in high school. I made my own fucking video game. You played it too. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, I did.
You did. All right. So I understand GUI. I'm very well versed in GUI, but like this app thing is so hard to wrap my head around. It was a huge kerfuffle, right? And then that brought up this discussion about
like how is this popular?
Yeah, and then he asked how's Apple popular, right? And the answer is brand name and brand name alone. All right.
Brand name, huh?
Right? Basically, Apple was failing before Steve Jobs, right? And they were so desperate to get a foot that they made Steve Jobs CEO. And then they managed to get Microsoft to like lend them invest in their company a bit, right?
I think that was the result of AppleSoft.
Yeah, AppleSoft, right? There's a bit of that, and then Steve Jobs developed quote unquote the iPhone. Basically, he had a very good friend, very good engineering friend. Is basically the end of that. Is basically that story. So if you ever need a project done, hire a guy who's very good at engineering. That is the moral of the story.
This is a bad moral.
Yeah. It is a terrible.
I was expecting you to get burned at some point.
Yeah.
Obviously means the game likes Steve Jobs more. So it's gonna burn you as a result.
Yeah. So Yeah, so basically, Steve Jobs didn't really do anything like typically important. He just inflated the brand name because the iPhone got popular, right? After that, the iPhone brand was basically set at that point. Like you can, so now everyone knows what an iPhone is. Everyone knows what Apple is, right? After that, they didn't even have to do anything. They'll make anything popular after that point. Is what I'm saying.
Case in point, the iPhone X.
Yeah, and they were talking about the iPhone X and all those memes that I did. Or you are at least.
Thanks, Gravity.
That actually worked out in my favor, I guess. But yeah.
Generally, like the format of this meme I've seen is, so you got the iPhone X, it's the standard iPhone X.
Yeah.
Then you got your iPhone Y, it's the iPhone X, but it's been rotated 90 degrees. Then you got like something like iPhone parabolic function.
Parabolic function. I can go through here, please.
And the phone is whatever function is listed.
Yeah. I'm speedrunning. These are deboosts I'm doing. But yeah, so Apple is a nightmare. No one develops for a Mac unless it's like an app, unless it's like an Apple. Like if you're developing for other. If you're developing for other things, right? App is hard to develop for. Because Linux and Microsoft are fairly interchangeable, because anything you can do on Microsoft you can do on Linux, basically.
For the most part.
Yeah.
Until you start getting into like OS specific functions.
Yeah.
Which are a nightmare in of itself.
Yeah. That's its own nightmare that only Linux people deal with. People aren't interested in coding for Linux, because coding for Linux is kinda it's more advanced than at least more advanced than more advanced than Windows, especially with fewer IDEs.
There are some cross-platform ones, I think.
Yeah, I believe Eclipse.
Yeah, I think Eclipse is one of them.
Yeah. But basically, you can use the same languages between Linux and Windows, right? Developing Apple Macs has to be on Swift or C Objective, which is basically earlier Swift.
Oh.
Yeah. It has basically no connection with C at all, and is even more nightmarish to look at.
Why is it called C?
I don't know. Probably because C existed, you know?
So?
Yeah, it's weird. They probably named it after C, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but why?
Because
Why?
C existed and it's a language.
Just because it's a language doesn't mean you have to name it after it.
Yeah, I know. People weren't thinking of names when they made it. I guess.
And they should.
You gotta name the language properly, otherwise we'll be confused and not like it. What a... Oh, I made it.
Somehow lava doesn't...
Uh-oh.
Somehow...
Whoa.
Somehow?
I made it. We're safe.
Yeah, man.
Oh, come on. Okay, that works. Oops. Shit. Okay, so yeah. So Apple survives on the brand name alone because in terms of their products, they're inferior both in software and in hardware. Like they use third party, they buy out people to build their shit for them, and it's these it's these third party companies that are worse than like that you've never heard of, basically, because they're cheap.
So I do hear some issues relating to like competitors like Android.
Yeah.
Because for things like I think I've heard that there's some rather nasty audio latency in Android.
Yeah. But oh, that works.
Oh, it's this level again.
Yep. I mean, it is this level again, and this is the comment of that. This is a shit comment. Why did they even try? I have half a minute left. I started with half a minute. I'm ending with half a minute. Okay, that works, I guess.
Yeah, probably.
All right. So what are we talking about again? Where did you say again? I said brand, and then you made something about Android, right? Right. We're talking about how it's inferior in every single way. Like, you break a MacBook, right? It's fucked. It's fucked. You can't open it up and replace anything because it's so tiny.
A lot of things these days are not meant to have replaceable parts.
Yeah, that's basically
It's kind of an issue of
antithesis of what it was. Why it's the antithesis of why you could replace things in the first place.
It's kind of an issue with everything these days.
Yeah. Apparently, someone's messaging me.
You must be popular.
Oh, someone is messaging me. Uh-oh.
Like I said, you must be popular.
It's redacted.
Oh.
That was my Skype.
Oh. So probably my Skype did a thing too.
Yeah. Soon. Soon, TM.
Soon, TM.
Yeah.
I hate that kind of soon.
I know, right? The worst. Absolute worst. Anyway. So it's inferior in every single way, right? And now there's the whole controversy where Apple has bought off that company. I forget what it's called. Do you remember?
I don't even know what you're talking about at this point.
Basically, it's the thing where like if you leave your iPhone out, it can hear what you say, and then it'll give you ads depending on what you say.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Have you heard of that before?
I have not.
Okay, but basically that's been what people are talking about.
Huh.
Currently. Oh
Privacy,
my God,
what's
this
that?
camera. Yeah. So basically your iPhone is literally spying on you, so it can sell you more shit. Which is funny coming from Apple because they were also the ones who refused to unlock the phone. Unlock the phone in that one terror shooting. Where the FBI asked Apple if they could unlock the phone, right? Because otherwise they can't get the data inside, right? And Apple refused to do it because they respect the privacy of their.
No, you see, Apple doesn't want anyone else to look at their customers' data. They want to look at their own, and only them.
Oh, this is unique. I like this level.
Well, that's neat.
Yeah, that's cool. It shows you how it works. Anyway, Apple's
That's cool.
So yeah, we're obviously shitting on Apple because but that's because Apple is just terrible. Oh, I can just duck.
Whee!
Oh.
Well, that's neat.
This doesn't go away, right? Please. Ooh. Ooh!
Oh.
Gotta restart! No!
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I took a damage boost. That's all. I have 6
Damage
health.
boost.
I have 6 health, it doesn't matter. Anyway. The controls also changed when based on gravity, so it feels a little weird.
Yeah.
I could just jump over. Right, I could just jump over. Right, okay. Thank you.
No, it's illegal.
Ooh. But basically. Right, so now they have they have actual spyware, technically. Selling you ads, for real. And that's the end of that, basically. Oh, where does this take me? Out. Oh.
Where are we now?
I don't know, but I'm taking the green one next time.
I wonder how long that'll be.
I think it actually skipped it for me. It did. That was the way I was supposed to go! Damn you.
Fool!
I have to do it again. Oh well. So... So like I said, Apple's surviving on brand name because the iPhone X is $1,000.
Yeah.
Face recognition technology does not justify the extra $500 it takes to upgrade that fucking phone. Alright? So don't even try pushing that on me.
I recall reading somewhere that Apple does, like, slow down older phones with new updates.
Yeah. they do that. That's because of obsolescence, planned obsolescence. I could just do that. Okay.
I think the reason they gave was to help not destroy the battery.
Oh, I have to do it like that. Okay, so that was the intended way to go, basically.
Pretty much.
Sorry, what were you saying? You said something about
I think Apple said that they were doing it for battery reasons.
battery. That makes no sense. That makes no sense at all.
I'm not Apple. I don't know these things.
That implies that their hardware on newer phones is more efficient. Instead of just adding new shit. Different aims.
That's probably not out of the realm of possibility. Because I think, like, the new 3DS counts as that. Like,
Yeah.
it's better hardware.
Better hardware. But you can still play, like, DS games on 3DS.
Well, that's just backwards compatibility, I think.
Yeah. It's wouldn't that technically be backwards compatibility in terms of an iPhone's case, though? If you think about it. If it's a battery issue, then let people deal with it, I guess? Instead of making it slower. Because how does making it slower and take more time to do the things that you want it to do translate into...
I didn't go through reading the article. That's just what I grazed from reading the title.
Yeah.
It may or may not be sensationalized, like most things.
Like most things. There's probably one up at the end of this and nothing else.
Or black hole.
Yeah, just like, congratulations, you die!
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past this game. I don't think you would either.
Nope. I was making progress and I lost it all.
I mean, you went so far and you worked so hard and got so far.
Yeah.
Didn't matter in the end. Not even gonna quote the lyrics correctly. Fuck you.
So yeah, Steve Jobs is basically Steve Jobs before he made Apple good, he was a failed businessman.
Huh.
Basically. Like he made a business that failed and got bought up by Apple.
I think that was the whole next step thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe that's what it was. He made a failed business that got swallowed up by Apple, and then when Apple was failing, they got desperate enough to make Steve Jobs CEO. I'm making progress, right? I think so.
I don't know.
If I'm like smashing into an invisible wall right now, I'm gonna be so pissed.
I can't tell. Oh, I think I see.
I think I see progress, yeah?
Yeah, it's just really slow progress because of this thing.
But anyway. So he was basically a failed businessman before Microsoft helped Apple up on its feet, and then he got a really good engineer to make the iPhone. And secure Apple's branding forever. Because they obviously lie during presentations, like especially about the durability of some of their products, right? Like they brag that the iPhone X is going to be the sturdiest iPhone ever, and it breaks on the first drop.
Good job, Apple.
Basically, at least it's waterproof, right?
Watch it. Someone proves it isn't.
Holy shit.
What's over there?
Nothing. It's totally nothing, isn't it? This is worth it! This was worth it! Can I even make it on there? Oh, I did. Oh my god!
Yeah, 3 1-ups.
It was so worth it! They're gonna be gone by the end of this session.
Yep.
Ow.
You mean right now? Why do we do this to ourselves?
Danger.
Don't
High
fall.
voltage. That's a shit song, by the way.
What's the shit song?
So yeah, remember your throwbacks to
Super what?
Mario Sunshine. That's what it was.
Oh.
It's a legendary sandbird.
I mean, I'm one of those people who hasn't really bothered to play
Uh-oh.
Mario Sunshine.
Yeah,
So,
I played a little bit of it on my friend's Game Boy, but
Game Boy.
Game Boy Cube DX Lite. New.
It prints money.
Yeah, it prints money. Yeah. That's what I like. That's what I kind of like about Nintendo hardware. It's actually fixing Nintendo hardware is actually dumb and stupid because you can't break that shit open. Otherwise, the entire thing goes oof. But you can literally call Nintendo and they can fix it for you. You can mail it to Nintendo and they'll send it back to you fixed.
Provided you didn't do any hacks, most likely.
Yeah. Well, that's just a given. Right? So I kind of enjoyed that at least that much. It's not a leg up from Apple though, which is basically the same thing.
Oh, are you trying to bait the thing?
Well, yeah, stepping in the sand is.
Oh, it comes back for you.
Yeah, it's the homing chomp.
A homing chomp.
I don't need to. Ooh! Ooh! Ah! Sucks to suck! Aww. Goodbye, Sandbird. No one liked you. Oh shit!
Oh, that would have been fun. I'm at the star. I'll just die.
Yeah.
Start all over because it's so great. I want to do it a second time.
I know, right? Legendary Sandbird!
Oh dear.
No one fixes PSPs because whatever. PS Vitas? Dude. I don't know. I don't think people. I mean, I don't think it's. I don't think. Well, people can. Well, like older consoles, people can definitely like self-fix because you can just break that open, insert a few, grab a few extra pieces of hardware, and then basically you can fix that yourself. It's pretty hard to DIY a lot of stuff these days, actually.
Yeah.
Like, if you ever learn about the industrial age, the one thing they'll always teach you is interchangeable parts, and we don't have them anymore because corporations.
Yeah, interchangeable parts. What are those?
Yeah, that's actually kind of really sad.
Yeah.
I mean, include manuals on how to fix your PC so that you can make more money fixing other people's PCs. Right? All right. Give them the incentive to do them themselves and have them fuck it up so you can get more money out of them. That is a strategy, right?
Yeah, probably for someone.
Yeah. I remember, yeah, they made a really big deal out of interchangeable. My history teacher made a big deal out of interchangeable parts actually in European history. Basically, he had us draw like our own doll, right? And he had us draw our own doll, right? We'd show them off in class. This is worth it, right?
Maybe.
Alright.
Or not.
I got it, don't worry.
You may have to sacrifice a couple hit points for this.
Worth it!
One?
Yeah! Oh, there we go. But my taxi is way ahead of me right now. Oh, it comes back!
Well, ain't that helpful?
Shit. But yeah, so he made us draw our own dolls, right? And we'd show them off in class, right? And
yeah, that was a great use of the 6 health.
Right? So we showed him off in class, right? He'd show it off in front of the class and embarrass everyone, right? Except for the actual people who could draw in high school. Right? And then he showed off his own doll, which is basically just a homunculus, right? But like, if you broke off his arm, you can do this and repair him, right? So that was our lesson in. Oh fuck! So that was our lesson in interchangeable parts, basically.
Ah.
Which, oh, I could have just waited until, oh.
You fool.
But yeah, so that was our lesson in interchangeable parts.
Good
Basically,
job.
if you want to get ahead of the industry, make interchangeable parts. Make interchangeable parts to make faster production, basically.
So that way you could just have people focus on one part.
Yep, one part.
And then have people focus on putting it together.
Yep. Nowadays, people are too smart for that. So you can't trick people into making only one thing anymore. So you gotta make the whole thing complicated and annoying. Make it so people can't rebuild it. Oh. Damn it.
What are we supposed to... Well, isn't there a saying of how you're supposed to work smarter, not harder?
Please, let corporations care.